Jonathan, let's talk about tech history.
All right, today we're covering the week of October 4th through the 10th. And first off, October 5th, we have Steve Jobs passes away.
October 5th, man, this guy. Yeah, we do talk. I feel like we do talk a lot about him, huh?
I know, but this is the end of it, really, about Steve Jobs, not about Apple. I mean, Apple is going to be forever. But
Yeah.
Steve Jobs finally passed away.
Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about when his company started, when he was fired from Apple, when he was hired back, all his, technology wonders that he came up with. And then, yeah, this is kind of where he passes away back in 2011.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a whole line of products that he basically came up with.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting guy.
10 years after, they're still going.
10 years after. Yeah. I mean, I think somebody was saying that Apple is richer than any government in the world. I forget where I heard that from. I could be wrong, but can you imagine? I mean, just they have so much money that they can probably buy a government if they want, It's crazy. Moving on.
Next up, we have October 6th, photocopying patented. So somebody patented photocopying?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Well, remember, patents are only valid for like the first 5 years, is it?
Okay.
So you can't really, you can't invent something and then not allow others to improve on it. And that's essentially, from my understanding, let me see. How long is a patent good for? 20 years.
Wow.
So yeah, so I think you can rent out the patent or allow others to use it by charging them patent use. But yeah, this is how a lot of people make their money. They go and invent something, and instead of trying to hog up the production, what they do is they rent out the patent and they say, hey, you can use our patent, but you have to pay us.
Interesting.
Yeah. Electrophotography, now commonly known as photocopy. Wow. So 1946, huh? The Haloid company finally licensed Carlson's patent. Oh, there you go. So Carlson had the patent, Haloid company licensed it and created the word xerography to differentiate the process from traditional photography. Eventually, photocopy became a larger part of the company's revenue. That Haloid changed their name to Xerox. Oh my goodness. Oh. The full circle's here. So Xerox started off as a company by the name of Haloid.
That is wow, that's pretty cool.
Tell me about it. I was like blown away just reading this. This is crazy.
Wow. They started from a patent about photocopying.
Wow. That's crazy. And then they had this really cool interface that involved keyboard and mice and touch and drag and click and drag and all this stuff. And we just finished talking about Steve Jobs, who took it from them. That's crazy how all this technology just kind of has an ecosystem of its own,
Yeah. It all started by Chester Carlson.
That's right. Good on. All right, moving on.
Next up, we have another patent on October 7th, barcode technology.
1952. Yeah, this barcode technology, man, this is pretty crazy because this is something that like everything has a barcode on it these days. You know, all the food you buy, they just scan it, scan it, scan it. It's a really fast way of being able to process a shopping cart at the checkout stand. So
Cool.
they eventually sold the patent for a mere $15,000, but were later inducted to the Investors Hall of Fame. So this guy, Norman Joseph Woodland, I feel like we've talked about him before,
Sounds
and Bernard Silver. Yeah, I feel like we've talked about these two guys. Classifying apparatus and method described as article classification through the medium of identifying patterns. Of course, today, these are known as the barcodes.
cool.
So this was first in 1966 and then rapidly developed in 1970s. So yeah, this is where they came up with the UPC symbols. So very cool.
All right. Next up, October 8th, finishing.
Oh, I know what this is. This is such a good game.
Finishing.
Tell me everything you remember about this, Jonathan.
The best fighting game ever. It's like, I feel like I just want a Super Nintendo just to play Mortal Kombat all day.
I want a Super Nintendo. Is it Super Nintendo or NES that you can play Street Fighter?
Super Nintendo, yeah.
Yeah. Where do we get our hands on a Super Nintendo so we can have like what do they call it? A nostalgic game night.
Yeah. We need one of those.
Yeah. That'd be cool for a New Year's Eve party.
Oh yeah, huh? Just have like a competition.
Yeah. We'll do brackets. And the last two standing get to play. We can have two separate competitions going, one for Mortal Kombat and one for Street Fighter.
Yeah. That'd be cool, yeah.
That would be cool. Can you still get your hands on a Super Nintendo?
Oh yeah. I think they're like $80 now. They're pretty up there because they're nostalgic.
$80?
$80, yeah.
Wait. But do you still blow on the cartridges?
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. Otherwise, it wouldn't be nostalgic. That's cool. $80. How much were they originally?
Probably like 60 or 70, maybe. Yeah. I feel like they just kept their value.
Wow. That's crazy. All right.
I've seen them at what's it called? Frankensons. It's a gaming and comic book collectible show.
Is Frankensons online?
Ooh, I don't know. Some of their vendors might be online. It's like a bunch of vendors that
Isn't it Frankensons, right?
Yeah.
Frankenstein's. Frankensons. Collectible. Oh, yeah, they are online. City of Industry.
Yep.
Well, they move. We have a new location.
Where Sam's Club was.
Where was? Oh,
yeah, next to the Benihana.
Yeah. Wow. And they don't sell anything online, huh?
It's just a bunch of vendors that come together and they just sell their stuff.
Wow, this is not a super spreader event if I see one ever.
Yeah, doesn't look COVID friendly.
I wonder how they did during COVID times.
I mean, they're still open. They're open 3 days a week now. They used to be open only 2 days a week.
Wow. So Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 3 to 9 p.m. 9 to 6 p.m. on 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5. We got a half hour. We should go. We should definitely, sorry to get off the topic here on frankincense, but man, Mortal Kombat just took us there. That's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah, I remember trying to get those fatalities every time that finish him came up.
And that's where you would throw the, even if you just threw a simple kick, that would be the finish him. Or did you have to do like some special like wabam cam type of like knockout?
Yeah, I feel like you would have to, because like that's how you finish him. But you could just like smack him in the head and he'll die.
That's cool.
Next up, we have October 9th, first cell phone over outdoor wires.
First cell phone over.
Cell phone call.
First phone call, not cell phone.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, it was pretty close. Only like 120 years later. So October 9th, 1876, Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Watson demonstrated the first two-way call over outdoor wires.
Well, they weren't wireless yet, so they just like got a really long wire.
Yeah. It's essentially what it came down to. Between Boston and Cambridge. I mean, this was a big deal. I mean, if you think about it.
That's how payphones are, kind of.
Yeah, yeah. Payphones are definitely that way.
Just a telephone outside.
Do you think, you know how, okay, so we started with payphones, and you could walk up to any payphone, drop a dime into it, and make a phone call anywhere within the local area. And then came the house phones, and from house phones came the mobile phones. And now it just seems like wired landlines are almost non-existent.
Yeah.
Everybody has, cellular phones, mobile phones, right, of some sort.
I feel like it's rare to see people with a landline nowadays.
Well, it's expensive.
Yeah.
To have a landline. It's like super expensive. It's always been expensive. It's always been at just the reach of it's just inside the economic reach of every person, every working class person.
Mm-hmm.
And so if back then was $1 to carry a landline, that's like, you end up winning, you would end up earning about $3 a day back then, maybe less. So, well, once phones became popular at the house, I guess is what I'm saying. That would be like maybe the 40s, 50s. And so, that was just inside the economic reach. And then as time progressed, I think right now to have a landline on your home, it costs like $40 to $50 a month. Yeah. Which the only ones that are going to call you are the telemarketers, spam calls and stuff. But do you think, I guess my point was, how they have bikes that you could rent, you have scooters that you could rent. Do you think cell phones are going to become something that people are just laying out, next to the like a bus stop, and you could just make a call from a cell phone, you just kind of drop a credit card in there, and they charge you like 50 cents per call anywhere in the world?
That'd be really interesting. I don't know.
You just got to stay within a certain range of that, of where you found it,
Yeah.
And that would be $50 for a call, though, man. That's pretty expensive. That's a little bit more than what we're paying every month for each one of our phones. All right. What else do we got?
Last but not least, October 10th.
Wait. Got to give this a big entry.
All right. Drum roll, please. October 10th, PacMan fever begins.
That's right, man. This was my era. I remember it was such a simple game, but so exciting to watch.
Oh yeah.
And it only reached up to 100,000. So as soon as you reach 999,999, it would tilt back over to zero.
Oh man.
So everybody would always play until they can tilt it back to zero. And it was just a pattern. You just kept on doing that same pattern over and over. And I believe that the pattern changed every, oh man, I want to say like every 15 or 17 episodes of your play. There was one pattern that would change, and you would have to do a different pattern and come back and do the same pattern for another 15 or 16 episodes of your game. And
oh wow.
If you were good and you knew all the patterns, you can tilt the machine and never ever lose any of your your players. And the only way that you would lose is by making a mistake, going off the pattern, and the ghost or whatever those little things are would end up trapping you and killing your play. But then you can just get back in there. And so at certain point, it's like they actually had like these competitions, like break the world's records for the longest play of Pac-Man. I wonder what was the world record. Let's look that up. Pac-Man game world record holder.
Oh yeah. Billy
triumphed over his competitor, scoring an unprecedented 3,333,360 points to become the world's first person to get a perfect score on Pac-Man.
Wow.
So he tilted it 300 times.
Wow.
300 times or 300,000 times? 300 times, right?
3 times, yeah.
Yeah, 300 times. I don't know how long that took him. I mean, we're here, right? How long was his? This is back in 2007. He must have done it before that, though. He also did the Donkey Kong. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't say how many hours. I would say it probably took several days. I mean, you have to prepare for something like this, right? Because if you're going to be there for several days, you got to have food ready or have somebody to come bring you food. You might as well just be sitting on the toilet because you're going to have to go to the bathroom at some point, and you can't wipe, so you need a bidet while you're playing. This is a pretty tough one. I mean, unless he just powered it through.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Did you ever get to play this game on the arcade?
Oh yeah.
Did you learn the patterns, or you just got to play it?
I just kind of messed around. I don't know what I was doing. I was pretty young still. I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you aware that there was a pattern to continuously play the game without dying?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you kind of see that the ghosts kind of go after you at some points, and then like they kind of go away, but I didn't recognize any pattern or anything.
Yeah. So if you think about how a computer works, right? The computer is going to launch these ghosts from inside that box. And the computer they have a predictive pattern. So if you can follow their predictive pattern so that they continue doing what they do without coming after you or cornering you, then you got the game beat, right? It's figuring out that pattern. It's like, how do I get them to continue doing what they're doing without me interrupting anything? And I think what happened was that you would follow a particular pattern. They would see you and they would come after you, but as soon as you disappear from their site, they would go back to their pattern and continue on to whatever they were doing, based on the computer pattern that was built in for the ghost. And so it was just learning those patterns that you had to do. I think there was only like a handful of patterns that you needed to learn. So it was pretty easy, but very entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
So cool. I think that was it, huh?
That's it for this week in tech history.
Grand finale with PacMan Fever. Until next time.
Peace out.
Peace out.